Say a convicted killer who has escaped from custody in Lancashire could be a risk to the public. Brian Lynch, who's 44, disappeared in Preston city centre while on day release for the first time since he was jailed 25 years ago. There have been 2 potential sightings. Our reporter Claire Fallon has more from Preston.
He's been inside for the last 25 years, and one of the things police say is that they don't know how well he'll be coping with life in 2013. It was the late 80s, the last time he was a free man.
Police have released an image of a teenage boy's badly injured face after he was targeted by a gang of 12 men in what they describe as a shameless and shocking assault in Manchester. The 15-year-old boy suffered a broken arm and facial injuries after being chased and attacked in a possible case of mistaken identity. Radical cleric Abu Qatada has been arrested after allegedly breaching his bail conditions. The Home Office has confirmed a 52-year-old man's been detained. The Vatican's installed a special chimney on the Sistine Chapel from which white smoke will signal the election of a new pope. Top secret deliberations start next week. In rugby union, Wales have gone level on points with England at the top of the table in the Six Nations. They've won 28-18 against Scotland at Murrayfield. In football, Aston Villa are out of the Premier League's relegation zone after winning 2-1 at Reading. QPR have beaten Sunderland 3-1. Wigan are on their way to Wembley after securing a 3-0 win at Everton in the FA Cup quarter-finals. Here's manager Roberto Martinez.
It's a way to pay our fans back. They've been magnificent since we started the adventure in the Premier League, and they always wanted a little bit of a success in the Cup, and finally we've been able to give them, so that's for them.
Manchester City face Barnsley in today's other quarter-final. In the SPL, leader Celtic lost 3-2 at Ross County. That's the latest. I'm Rachel Jewell.
The news on iTalkFM is brought to you by Currencies Direct. To save money on your foreign exchange, pensions, monthly payments and bank transfers, call Currencies Direct now on 952 906 581. That's 952 906 581. This hour on iTalkFM is a repeat of a programme that was previously aired. This hour on iTalkFM is a repeat of a programme that was previously aired.
To the iTalkFM classical music program, presented by myself, Rosalind Scott-Gibb. And our very, very special guest for this program is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I think music lovers would agree that he does deserve at least one complete hour all to himself. Certainly Joseph Haydn would. He is quoted as stating to Leopold Mozart, quote, "I declare before God and as an honest man that your son is the greatest composer I know, either personally or by name," unquote. Because he was such a prolific composer, we have over 600 pieces of his music to select from. Like Johann Sebastian Bach, Mozart had little interest in establishing new forms within classical music. He was more committed to the idea of synthesis and the perfection of forms already in existence. So it's only in the area of the concerto that he could be said to have moved music forward in any substantial way. But the supreme quality that he brought to previously designed forms places him in the front rank of musical genius. Shall we have a light and delicate start with a bit of romance with the Andante from Mozart's Serenade, a little night music. Wolfgang was born on the 27th of January, 1756 in Salzburg. He was the seventh born child of a musically gifted and personally ambitious father. Both Wolfgang and his sister, Maria Anna, were child prodigies. Within 1 year of receiving lessons from his father at the age of 4, Wolfgang was not only duetting with his sister, but composing little minuets in imitation of the pieces his father set for him. At the tender age of 6, Wolfgang's father felt they were both ready for the world stage. So let's listen to Mozart's very popular Concerto for Violin No. 3, which he composed when he was 19. This is the Allegro. All three Mozarts were presented to the court of the Elector of Munich, and later the same year to the Emperor's Viennese court. During the following year, the family followed a pattern of increasingly ambitious tours throughout Europe, including Paris, London, Amsterdam, Utrecht, and Munich, as well as giving concerts to the aristocracy in Salzburg and Vienna. Between 1769 and 1771, during an extended tour of Italy, father and son met with unprecedented success. Wolfgang was given a private audience with the Pope of Rome, and he was awarded the Order of the Golden Spur. Let's listen now to that most lovely piece from Mozart's Concerto for Piano and Orchestra No. 21, the Andante. And you'll recognize this from Elvira Madigan. It was after the death of his mother in 1778 that Mozart finally broke free of his authoritarian father, and as a result, Leopold turned nasty. He hounded and tormented his son and objected to his marriage to the singer Constance Weber, blamed Mozart for his mother's death, and never showed interest in his 6 children nor sympathy when 4 died in infancy. Mozart repressed his pent-up anger towards his father, and it's actually thought that this could have been the cause for his frequent bouts of depression. Mozart wrote a symphony for a festivity held in the home of Burgomaster Sigmund Hafner in Salzburg in the summer of 1782. The request came through his father, still in Salzburg, to his son in Vienna, where Mozart was rooming with his fiancé's family, the Webers. He was under tremendous work pressure, and his father was against the forthcoming marriage and would not give his consent. Well, let's listen to the Andante from his Symphony in D major, number 35, Hafner. During his short life, Mozart wrote for every known musical form, perhaps why he's sometimes referred to as the chocolate box composer. Although I do think that's extremely unkind. He created a vast array of masterpieces, both small and large. Of his 23 original piano concertos, the works from 1782 onwards are regarded as completely mature, exhibiting a remarkable balance between melody and harmony, soloist and orchestra. He was 26. That same year, Mozart started a series of concerts for which he often prepared new piano concertos or symphonies, and which were regularly attended by Austrian nobility. But the hoped-for court appointments failed to materialize. The marriage took place late that summer, against the wishes of both father and sister. The young couple could only look forward to a precarious financial existence. He was even forced to give music lessons, which he was not temperamentally suited for. It was during the same year that Haydn met Mozart, whose genius he was quick to recognize. The admiration was mutual, and the influence of both composers on each other was readily discernible. Haydn's famous statement to Mozart's father, "Your son is the greatest composer I have ever heard. He has taste and possesses the most complete knowledge possible of the art of composition," unquote. This comment says as much for Haydn's generosity of spirit as for Mozart's talent. Let's have another of his all-time favorites. This is the Adagio from his Concerto for Clarinet, and you'll recognize this from the music from Out of Africa. Another major development in Mozart's life began when he joined the Freemasons. This was not a whim on his part, as demonstrated by the constant undertone of Masonic thought, which can be traced in so many of the works composed in his remaining years. A more artistically important event occurred in 1785 when Mozart became acquainted with the newly appointed imperial court poet, the Italian Lorenzo da Ponte. He invited da Ponte to compose a libretto, and together they created the Marriage of Figaro. After surviving vicious court intrigues against it, the opera became the hit of the season in Vienna. A subsequent production in Prague was an even greater success. Mozart wrote to a friend, "Here they talk about nothing but Figaro. Nothing is played, sung, or whistled but Figaro." Nothing but Figaro. Certainly a great honor for me, unquote. So let's listen to his much-loved and all-time favorite, The Marriage of Figaro. There is, in fact, a traditional thought that this opera was first performed in New York in 1799 with the title of The Follies of the Day. English versions of Mozart's comic masterpiece were popular in England and in the US throughout the first half of the 19th century. So let's listen to the overture. immediately started work on his next greatly successful opera, Don Giovanni, premiered in Prague in 1787. Although he was given a trumpet fanfare as he arrived at the theatre, he was still not financially secure, since copyright did not yet exist in the theatre. So he had little to show for his operatic triumphs apart from his initial fee. So we'll listen to the overture from Don Giovanni. Mozart's last few months were spent in a spiral of increasing illness, financial worries, often said to be created by his great extravagance, and a rising fear that he would not complete the Requiem. Mozart died in December 1791 at the age of just 36. Although it's written that his body was put in a pauper's grave in Vienna, there is some dispute as to the true definition of pauper's grave. Most likely it was a common grave, which was the custom of the time, and also he did not have mourners at his funeral, but again this was the custom of the time. And what was the truth of his great financial problems? He and Constance may well have been extravagant and careless with cash, but certainly for a genius like Mozart, who wrote prolifically during his brief 36 years, he was certainly never overpaid nor honored to the degree that he deserved for the great gifts that he gave to humanity. Even today, of course, reward for creative genius is sadly rarely generous. But we do know for certain that Mozart pushed every musical instrument, including the human voice, to its limits and propelled every musical category, especially opera, into new and innovative realms. The last words before I say goodbye will come from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, quote, "Neither a lofty degree of intelligence nor imagination nor both together go to the making of genius. Love, love, love. That is the soul of genius," unquote. I'm going to repeat that. Neither a lofty degree of intelligence nor imagination nor both together go to the making of genius. Love, love, love. That is the soul of genius. Those are the words of Mozart. So this brings us to the end of this week's classical music program. Thank you so much for your company, and I do hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I'm going to leave you with the Allegro from Mozart's Piano Concerto No. 20, Act 2, Romance. So until next time, I'm Rosalind Scott-Gibb, saying bye for now.
On 97.1 and online at iTalkFM.com, this is Marbella's talk radio station, iTalkFM. It's 10 o'clock. The news is brought to you by Currencies Direct, named by the British press as simply the best foreign exchange provider. Call them now on 952 906 581.